Okairi, welcome back to my channel, May Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we are doing part 2 of my Unbox My Own Shelves with me. Now, what does that actually mean? My family and I moved from Japan to the States about 3 months ago, and we've been waiting for our life, essentially, to arrive on a boat that was making its way across the world, and it has now arrived. And part of that life that has now arrived is all of my books, or our books, I should say. Hayata's manga has also all arrived, and we're deciding where to put everything. Currently, I am dealing with limited space, this being the main bookshelf. This corner bookshelf behind me is the only space I really have to store books at the moment. So what I'm doing is going through one box per video. I individually wrapped each of my books because I wanted to protect my investment, and I, put them kind of together in a semblance of order, but then the packing company actually put them all in boxes. So I don't know what's in each box. I just opened it for quality control, make sure that there were no bugs, nothing in there, and that's it. So I don't know which books I'm unboxing either. But I thought this would be a nice break from the consistent overconsumption that we're seeing in this space where hauls are only of, new books that you've bought. I love a haul, don't get me wrong, but I do think this is kind of a refreshing way to look at it. And what I'll do is I'll take out the books, we'll talk about them a little bit, and then I'll decide if I'm going to put them on the shelf or they're going to go back in storage until I have more space to display. If you want to watch part 1, feel free to check that out first. I'll have it linked down below and in the cards here. But the carrot scissors from the first video are making their reappearance. Let's get into it. Now the first video, forgive me while I open the box off of camera here. It's way too heavy to be lifting up here. But in the first video, I had kind of an anticlimactic box. It was a lot of my Japanese study books and journals and things like that, which is interesting for me, but not for you all. So just looking at the corner, though, that I can see from opening this box, this one is much more promising. So let's see what we've got. Ooh, so many! Oh, I'm so excited. I've been missing these books. All right, so the first one I see is Clarkesworld. This is a freebie that was available at the Glasgow Worldcon. Picked it up then, haven't read it yet, but I am such a fan of short story anthologies. I can't wait to get to this. Clarkesworld also had another freebie at the Seattle Worldcon, which I don't think that vlog will be up yet. It might be, I'm not sure what order. But if it's not, I picked up English. But if it's not, I picked up Clarkesworld this year as well in the freebie section. But I love the art on this. Just gorgeous. Next, we have another mini one, Yesterday. This is one that's been on a couple TBRs and I've just never quite gotten to it. I picked this up on a whim. It is a Chilean author, so it's a translated work, and it just sounds so strange and weird that it caught my eye right away. So I haven't been reading my big fantasy series recently, so this might be just what the doctor ordered, honestly. Not the first time I've said that, but choose to believe me this time. Then I have The Little Prince. This was actually a gift from a dear friend of mine. It's her favorite book, and I haven't read it, if you can believe it or not. So she gifted it to me to read. I brought it over to Japan thinking, it's short, I'll get to it for sure before I move. Unfortunately, dear readers, I did not. So it's back across the pond with me. Okay, now we're getting into some thick boys here. I have Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This one, you can see I've tabbed it up. I loved the first book, Skyward. Blanked on the name for a second there. I loved Skyward so much. It surprised me. I read it in one sitting. I devoured that book. Starsight is the sequel, and I liked it, but not enough for it to keep my passion for it. So while I do have the third book somewhere in here, I haven't read it yet. I did read the novellas that are between this one and the third book. I don't remember what the third book is called. I guess we'll find out if it's in this same box. But the novellas also were okay. Like, they're solid 3 stars. The first book was 5 stars for me. Solid 3 stars for the next 2, but I lost my excitement. And so I think this is a quartet, and I haven't even bought the 4th one in this edition, and I am a collector of editions, so that my enthusiasm really waned on it. I'm sure that I could get it, you know, secondhand if I decide that I want to complete my collection. I will finish it one day because there's a possibility for it to get me, you know, get the hype back for itself or get me interested again. But we'll see. It's just not high priority on my list right now, but I will say it is still gorgeous. Look at that. Next, we have Holopox, and I also see Wondersmith here. This is the second and third book, respectively, in the Morgan Crow series. I love this series, or I guess better known as the Nevermore series. I guess that's probably the official name of it. I adore the series so much. The sense of wonder that this gave me, I hadn't had it in such a long time. This and Amari and the Night Brothers are two middle grades that gave me the sense of wonder that I was desperately missing in my adult fantasy. And so these have a very, very soft place in my heart. The first book I only have as paperback, but I want to hunt it down in these UK editions. One, because the covers are shiny and beautiful, but two, because the naked hardcovers are stunning. I actually had them displayed with their naked hardcovers for years on my shelves, and the dust jackets, they got a little bit beat up, but I ended up straightening them back out. But I love the naked hardcovers enough that I actually displayed them that way. So I would love to get my hands on Nevermore in this edition, but yeah, I treasure these. They're amazing. If you want a whimsical, magic for the sake of magic middle grade that has friendship at its heart, this right here. Okay, I saw a small stack of paperbacks here, so I went ahead and grabbed them. Let's see what we're working with here. I have The Call of the Wild by Jack London. Now this I know I did read at some point. I think, is this one of those ones where like the dog dies or something? It's a classic. I'm not spoiling it, I don't think, because I don't even remember if that's what happens in this book. Or is that Wild Fang? Oh wait, this is what Wild Fang, White Fang. And White Fang. Okay, so they're two different ones. So there's The Call of the Wild and White Fang by the same author. There we go. One of them, at least, I read in school, and it made me sad. I remember that. But I have this in my collection because I would like to reread them one day. I did start a classics challenge on my channel back in 2022. And I read it, I stuck with it for a couple months, but then I fell off of it. But I love that idea still. I have so many classics like these that I want to read, but won't pick up, I think, in lieu of something else unless I have a challenge going. So that's something I might want to pick back up in like 2026, 2027, now that I'm settled here, my entire library's together. I don't know, I'm really considering that, thinking about it. But for now, I'm not thinking this is going to be a displayed book. I also have Alice in Wonderland, this cute, tiny little pocket edition. I love the gilded edges. This book and I do not match. I was very excited to read it. I guess maybe nonsense stories, like the ones that are on purpose, like purposefully nonsensical, don't work, because I read this book and felt like I was on an acid trip the entire time. I'm glad I read it because it's a classic and now I am aware of this part of the cultural zeitgeist that I live in, but it's not for me. But I like this little pocket edition, doesn't take up a lot in my library, so I've decided to keep it. Next we have Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Maya Angelou, she speaks and magic occurs. Her pen creates magic as it flows. I love this book. I don't even remember the details of it. I don't really need to because I remember the feeling it gave me. This is another one that I think I would be due for a reread, honestly. Any of Angelou's work I would like to reread. Because I read this when I was way too young to really, I think, take in the full significance of it. So taking it on as a frontal lobe matured adult would be something I'd be very interested in. Similarly, To Kill a Mockingbird. I read this in high school, as everyone does. And I remember the overall story, but I would like to kind of take it on again as an adult. So I'm seeing a theme here. I'm feeling a long-term vlog challenge thing developing itself. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that, like a reading new classics as one option. Another option would be to throw in some classics I read when I was younger and add in my thoughts now. I think that comparison type vlog would be real fun. Next, I have My Own Devices by Dessa. Dessa is one of my favorite musical artists of all time. She's a rapper and she sings as well, but rap is kind of her main wheelhouse. And her lyrics are so incredibly intelligent. I feel like the more I listen to her music, I get new meaning out of it every time. And so this is True Stories from the Road on Music, Science, and Senseless Love. So it's a reflection on certain years of Dessa's life. My parents actually got this signed for me at a Dessa concert. So this is a prized possession of mine. If you wanted to hear me talk about a specific quote or ideas from her music that I love, I have a favorite quotes video that I made, and I was supposed to make a second one, I never did. That's another idea to pursue on my channel. But in that first video, I talk about I give a quote from one of my favorite songs from her and talk about why I enjoy it so much. And I know I converted quite a few Dessa fans from that video. So if you're interested, I will also have that link down below, but that's what this book is. Cool. Next, we have 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. I read this ages ago. It is a reimagining of folklore stories from different Asian cultures. And it's all own voices stories. And I remember, like all anthologies, some hit, some didn't, but I think I ended up giving this a 4-star because overall I really enjoyed my experience with this and learning about different mythological characters or motifs or themes that are present throughout all of Asia, not just Japanese culture, which is what I happen to know the most about. I remember feeling like I was learning a lot reading this and seeing some differences and continuities that I found interesting. And also the descriptions of food in this still stick out in my brain. I'm telling you, just Asia knows how to do food, okay? They're not the only place in the world that knows how to do food, but they certainly do know how to do it. And the descriptions in here had my mouth watering. Okay, so for these two, the first one makes my heart soar, the second one crushes me, but they are a set, so here they are. That's Raybearer and Redemptor. I almost forgot the name for a second of the second one. I've tried to erase it from my brain. Raybearer, one of the best YA fantasy books I've ever read. This is phenomenal. The source of the magic system, the character work, the setting, everything about this is so well thought out, beautifully realized. It's a stunning, stunning book, which is why I needed to get my hands on the special edition. Now, when it was being released, I think this is an Illumicrate edition, maybe? It was coming in a set with Redemptor, which hadn't come out yet, or I hadn't read it yet, maybe. So I read this copy of it. What did y'all do to Ufueko? Okay? Because I know what she's capable of, and this ain't it. What happened here? This is a level of skill that is rare, okay? This book must have been rushed. I don't know what happened here. But all of the things that are right about number 1 are wrong about number 2. The character work is rushed. The world building has plot holes galore. None of the emotional plot devices, investments come to fruition. Everything feels cheap and rushed. I prefer to wish this didn't exist, honestly, and that Raybearer is a standalone. I actually have 2 editions of Raybearer. I have this one, and then I have the one that's behind me here. This might be the Illumicrate edition, actually, but I have this one here, and I only have this edition of it. It's beautiful. I might just keep only this edition of Raybearer and pretend that Redemptor doesn't exist and just recommend it as a standalone. Because, I mean, it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but you could live with this as a standalone. I might do that. Okay, now we need some scissors action here. So some of them I was able to wrap in the clear covers, but US sizes or UK sizes, basically English book sizes, don't translate to Japanese sizes. So since I was buying on Japanese Amazon, the covers only went to certain, what's the word I'm looking for? There were a lot of books that were too big for those types of clear covers. So I bought like these kinds of bags and just taped them to the size I needed them to be. So this one is labeled though, so we know what it is. And it's Shackled Fates #2 from the Hanged God trilogy. do I want to open these? See, here's the question, because these I can see, so I can keep them wrapped for now. This is a broken binding book, so it's gorgeous, but I don't know if I'm going to display it. So if it goes back in storage, do I want to have it open? Why don't I just keep this covered for now, and then we'll see if there's any I definitely want to display, and I'll certainly unwrap those. And we'll just see how many I'm working with for unwrapping. So we have Slaughtered Gods number 3 here as well. Hopefully number 1 is in here somewhere. And we have Green Rider. Now this one I know I want to unbox because I want to reread it soon. This, you know what? It's not here, is it? I have a beat up paperback version of this book that I read when I was really young and over again, and I loved it. It must still be in storage. So when Broken Binding released that they were going to be doing their own version of this book, I knew I had to get it for my younger self. I don't remember details of the book. I just remember I loved it. Okay, I was a horse girly when I was young. And I don't think I ever continued the series because I'm pretty sure that the paperback was like from a library sale, and I just picked it up because it had a horse on it. But I would love to reread it as an adult. Not necessarily a classic, so maybe a different idea, different series from what we were talking about before, but one that I would definitely like to revisit. So here it is with the broken binding treatment. It is stunning. Can you imagine as a horse girly seeing this, right? So there's the end pages. And then what really sold me on this edition was the naked hardcover. Wraparound, just gorgeous. So I do want to have this on my shelf because I want to keep it in the forefront of my mind as a reread. Okay, hi, sudden cut to the next day. I had to go do parent things last night, and Sumi is just having a really hard time sleeping right now, and so I was supposed to finish filming this yesterday, and I didn't. So we are back in the morning. Before Hayato goes to work, he is watching Sumi, and I'm going to finish this up for you guys. So if the angle's a bit different, if I look a bit different, I know I do, I'm wearing different clothes, it's another day, so it is what it is. Now, in my memory, where I stopped off was I had just opened Green Rider, I think. This one here. Because I know that I want to put this on my shelf to reread it sometime in the near future. So she is fully open. And I decided not to open the Slaughtered Gods series right now because I have a lot of broken binding books, and I would like to have like a full collection visible. I'd like to put everything together, but I'm not sure I have the space here for that. And this is a Norse fantasy series, and it does look very good. The covers are beautiful, but I don't think I'm going to get to it really soon. So for now, I'm going to keep these wrapped because they might be going back in storage. So let's see what else we've got here and choose some to unwrap. Now this one was actually a gift from Patrick. I don't know if I'm going to have my final Japan vlog up by the time this goes up. I may not. There's a lot of editing that's going into it. I've started it, but just in case it's not up, surprise, surprise, Patrick came to visit Hayato and I before we moved from Japan. He came to Fukuoka. We had a great time, did lots of, like a food tour, essentially, because we're all foodies. And in exchange for that, for basically, you know, me being a tour guide, Patrick so kindly brought me the, what are they called? I don't remember the name of these editions, but these editions of Dune. They are stunning. And he carried them over, and he had them the whole time in his backpack. I'm just so thankful. These are not light. So we have Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. These are both smaller, so they could fit in the clear packaging. But Dune itself could not. Now, I've been wanting to read Dune for a really long time, and I would kind of like to keep that in the back of my mind when I'm looking for my next pick. So I do think that I'm going to go ahead and open this. When I was on the plane, actually, we had Sumide, so I couldn't watch too much, you know, of the movie, but I did start watching Dune. I committed the cardinal reader sin of watching the movie first. But what I did see of the movie was amazing. I know a lot of people praise that movie as being a fantastic adaptation, and I'm not surprised based on what I saw. So, I don't know, I might watch the movies first. But I do want to read the actual story, and so with these beautiful editions, you know, I don't really have any excuse not to. I know there was like a big trend of everyone reading Dune like around the time when the adaptation came out, but when am I actually on time for things? It's actually quite on brand that I'm doing this late. So here she is in all her glory. So pretty. I love this color scheme. I don't know, I didn't think I was an orange and blue girl, but I mean, look at that. It's just gorgeous. So I'm not going to open the clear packaging at the moment, just to save some time, but I will have these 3 somewhere on the shelves behind me. Thank you, Patrick. Next book I see here is Jade City. Now this says TBB on it. So this is the Broken Binding edition. I have a very interesting experience with Jade City specifically, owning it physically, because when I first read it was via ebook, and if anyone has been around my channel, they know the Greenbone Saga is one of my favorite series of all time. As soon as I read Jade City, the first chapter of Jade City, I was hooked. So I bought it physically online, and I think it was through Book Depository at the time. And when it arrived, it was one of those kind of like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I say you know what I'm talking about and haven't said words yet. It's like a gray book, not the black hardcover. I'm having a really hard time describing this. I think it might be easier to just show you all if I can unbox the series, which I have here. So I'll do that in a moment. But essentially the hardcover is a lower quality and looks different from the hardcovers that you would get in store, essentially. And so I rebought it because, you know, I love Jade City so much. So I rebought it from Barnes & Noble thinking it would be the hardback that I wanted. But then the cover of that one was matte instead of shiny. So I have like 2 versions of it, but neither of them are exactly like the original version that I want. So I don't know what I'm going to do about those. Might have to mix and match. I have to see exactly, because I don't remember the minutia of like what's exactly different between the 2, but I remember neither of them was quite right. So maybe if I combine the 2, I'll have the version of it that I want. But I also do have the Broken Binding edition. Which edition do I want to display? Broken Binding is without a doubt prettier, but my tabs are in the original. My life is very hard. And I have such limited space that I don't know if I want to have both. I don't think I can really have 2 versions of something. I say as I'm looking at my Sanderson. For now, I'm going to keep the Broken Binding packaged because I haven't really opened a bunch of Broken Binding stuff yet. So maybe I'll save that. I'll save that for later. What I really wanted for the Greenbone Saga, because I already own 2 editions of it, but that's not enough, is I have the Subterranean Press editions of the Jade Setter of Janloon and Jade Shards, and these are gorgeous. I love these so much. I wanted to get the Greenbone Saga editions from Sub Press, but when that price tag came out, I was like, I cannot in good conscience do this right now. And so since I didn't purchase the first book, like because I purchased these, I got a pre-order link, so I could have ordered early. I missed it. And so since I didn't get the first book, I won't have access to the second and the third. So I think I'm going to have to buy them at resale prices if I'm ever going to get a matching set. So I'm not really sure. I think these would match the original set better. So I think I'll unbox the original set for now. Although the Sub Press editions would be my dream editions. Or Folio, if Folio ever does something. But since I've now made that choice, let's go ahead and open the original 3. So we'll go backwards. I've got Jade Legacy here. Now I had Jade Legacy displayed like face out for a long time, and I didn't support it correctly. So the spine might have gotten a little wonky at this point. I hope not. I mean, it's kind of been pressed in with other books for a couple months, so maybe that actually ironically fixed the issue. But Jade Legacy I also read as an ARC. I was lucky to get an ARC, so I don't have tabs in this yet. It's one of those things where, like, one day when I have free time, I would love to transfer my tabs over from reading it, but it's going to take so long because I know I tabbed the crap out of this book. before I, you know, highlighted the crap out of this book. Here she is, the original Jade Legacy. I still think, I mean, the editions that have come out since, the art is finally doing this series justice. I don't hate the original covers. I actually really don't. But I don't think it does the series justice either, you know. Okay, and then I'll get Jade War here. Now this one I know I tabbed up. I will say, I packaged these beautifully. None of these got beat up. Okay, here is Jade War, all tabbed up. And Jade City. So this is the one that has the weird cover and hardcover. They're both strange on this. Okay, so this one is wrong in both ways. So I have tabbed it. So I think I might keep this hardcover even though it's not the best quality. And this one is the matte cover and drives me absolutely crazy because they're supposed to be really shiny, right? This one is matte. And then to show you what's different about the hardcover, it looks like this, right? But what it should look like is this, right? So I want this hardcover with the shiny dust jacket. So I think what happened, yeah, I bought it the second time and it was still this hardcover, which drove me crazy. But the cover was shiny, so I can at least get the shiny cover on the tabbed up one that I have, but I still don't have this version of the hardcover, which is much nicer quality. So yeah, we'll see. I've had an interesting journey. I don't mind giving Fonda Lee money over and over again. She is a wonderful human. So she can have my money again so that I can get my collection to look how I want. But yeah, I mean, I tabbed the living shit out of this, so it would be really hard to transfer all those. Might be worth it though for the insane collector in me. We'll see. Okay, next what I'm seeing, as I mentioned, I was looking at my Brandon Sanderson. I have my Way of Kings here. So I, in Japan, went out of my way when I discovered the Stormlight Archive to collect the UK hardcover editions of the Stormlight Archive. This Way of Kings is a reprint, so it's second printing. But for Words of Radiance, I have the first printing. And I love these books. They're not, you know, to be honest, they're really not the best quality. The spine is not well put together. I think the US versions have a much better quality to them. But since I started the collection, I decided to finish it and get Wind and Truth in this edition as well. And it matches all of the UK paperbacks, right? The white paperbacks. But I've just said that I don't want to take up more space on my shelves by putting duplicates. And if you look behind me here, like I've already got my fancy leather-bound editions of Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Warbreaker, Elantris, and then I've got the Secret Projects in the back there. And to be honest, I don't want to take up more space with the same author. So even though I treasure this collection and I love how, and these are the ones that I've tabbed, and I love how they look on the shelves together, I'm going to keep them wrapped and in storage for now until I have more room. So here's Words of Radiance. Look how thick that is. I mean, you could seriously injure someone with that. Okay, here is number 1 in the Hanged God trilogy. They did pretty good packing, keeping some of the series together. I appreciate that. I kind of, you know, I'm sure that they didn't pay attention, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of series spread throughout all of the boxes, but so far they've done a pretty good job. Next here we have Skyward. So I talked earlier about Starsight in this video, so here's the Skyward. Do I want this on my shelf? I love this book. Like I said, this is 5 stars and I'd be proud to show this. But the series isn't like an all-time favorite right now. It is really pretty. I think this is one I'm going to have to sit on for a little bit as well. And we've got the UK editions of Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. Oathbringer is pretty beat up. I probably shouldn't read from this edition anymore because it was used. I don't know. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. That's a lie. I bought it for myself. This was the first one because the Way of Kings and Words of Radiance had already been released when I found the Stormlight Archive. So Oathbringer is one that I bought myself. And it just didn't arrive very nicely. Book Depository, while I relied upon it to get a lot of things that, you know, a lot of editions that I couldn't get elsewhere while living in Japan, they didn't really care about shipping, which isn't surprising considering Amazon owned it. It's amazing how little Amazon cares about the process of shipping books, even though books is supposed to be their main thing. That's where they started with. But anyway, so Oathbringer's not in the best shape, unfortunately. But I'm going to put all of these back in the box, and I see a couple more here. This one I know for sure I'm going to be putting on my shelves, but I don't know. I have the broken binding edition of the trilogy, so that might be the one that I display rather than the paperback. But Children of Time, Adrian Tchaikovsky, this is the one I tabbed though, so I'm tempted to put it on the shelf instead of the hardcovers. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. 5 stars. I went into this book with the hype, so I was ready to kind of be disappointed. I was not, dear readers. I love this book. And I've read the second one now, Children of Memory, but I still haven't read the third one, Children of Time. No, that's this one. What's the third one? Is the third one Children of Memory? Editing Taylor put the title of the third one on here. Haven't read that yet. And the last two here, we have The Pilgrimage. I believe that this is yes, this is the same guy who wrote The Alchemist. I read The Alchemist when I was way too young to really process it. I remember snippets of the book, but none of it flows in my head as a story. Like, I don't know what happened in that book. And it's so widely praised and so many people love it. I don't know, people that I respect say it's the only book they've reread. You know, I would like to revisit it, but until I revisit it, I am not going to be reading this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in storage. And then we have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I did thoroughly enjoy this. I think I gave it a 4 or 4.5 when I read it. It's a very feel-good space opera. I really did enjoy this, and I think it's very pretty, but it's not something that I feel the need to talk about all the time, so I think this is going to go in storage for now as well. Okay, so just in summary, the ones I've decided to keep out for now and put on the shelves would be the Greenbone Saga, of course, Green Rider, the Dune trilogy here, 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, My Own Devices by Dessa, To Kill a Mockingbird, and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Clark's World, Yesterday, and The Little Prince, Wondersmith and Hollowpox, to be followed by Nevermore, although the paperback doesn't match these editions. I don't know, but at least these two for sure. And then the two that I'm waffling about are these Raybearer and Redemptor editions. They're really pretty, but as I mentioned earlier, I have this Raybearer edition on my shelf, and honestly, I like it better. I like the color scheme better than this version. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think just keep this on the shelf and, like I said, kind of pretend this one doesn't exist and put these both in storage for now. Maybe I'll end up selling these later, I don't know. But yeah, I think they're going into storage, at least for now. All right, so that is the second box open and split between what's going back and what's staying here. And I will see you guys in part 3. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of any of these books. Have you read them? Have you not? Do you think my decisions of what to keep out and put away are questionable? Would love to hear your opinions down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. I'd love to have you as part of this community, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Johnny!